Hey folks, welcome to the next game in our Goblin playthrough. So today we're going to be up against another human coach, who will be coaching Pro Elves. So, this is the first game where been able to put my Knuffles Altar into work. So, with my inducements, I've managed to pick up 3 bribes, a Bloodweiser Babe, and also 2 star players, which I'll show you now. Okay, so if we pause this real quickly. Okay, so 2 star players. I've been able to pick up Fungus, who is a ball and chain, they're called Fanatics, and Nobla, who is the chainsaw goblin. So that gives me a total of 2 chainsaws and 2 ball and chains, as well as 2 trolls. So yeah, pretty dangerous lineup when Knuckles Altar gets going. So we are going on defense first. So what we're doing is we're just leaving in Nobla, and we're taking out the rest of the star players. So the idea here is I thought that so I'm gonna be calling the other coach Gus a lot because I know him. His striker is his name, but I know him as Fergus. So what I thought Gus was going to do is it's his drive, so he would just kind of like, you know, mess around with the ball a lot and score on turn 8. The idea being that it limits like me getting a full half or a decent chunk of the half with all my weapons in. So what I thought might happen would be, you know, try and injure enough of my players so that so it changes from rain to sun, which is good for him. So yeah, injure enough of my players so that when the next drive happens, I'd have to bring in my star players, and you know Fergus wants that to happen quite near the end of the half, so I have to use my bribes on like maybe only getting 1 turn. So to negate that, I just put in my chainsaw, and my game plan here will be ignore the ball basically, let the pro elves do whatever the hell they want to do, and try and kill as many of his players as I can possibly do, so that when it is my drive, it's going to be a lot easier. Kind of like, you know, you just can't play ball against elves as goblins. They're just going to run a ring unless Fergus rolls terribly. He's just going to run rings around me. So yeah, and the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to fell with Nobla, and probably not use the bribe when he eventually gets caught. Depending, I mean, if I get caught in the very first fail, then I might maybe use the bribe because it'll be a complete waste of Nobla. But yeah, okay, so that's his turn. My main goal in this turn is to this elf here, knock him down into this square, and then fail with Nobla. Which, number 1, protects Nobla for the next drive because he's nice and cushioned in here, and also this elf will be surrounded by my guy, so it'll be an absolutely nothing roll. And first thing I want to do is, you know, before I make any of these rolls, I just want to stop his scoring threat. And now I go and I set up the knockdown. So Stunty works for me fine. I do get the knockdown, and I do get to put him here. So now I'll be able to fail. But I actually roll a KO. So yeah, no fail on that turn. So then the next thing I want to do is just make sure that Nobla is okay. And to do that, I bring him right back here because this is my next target, his catcher here with dodge. Roll the boat down on the block, and unfortunately David gets stunned on that. Do manage to stun him, but yeah, armor 9 on the first knockdown, but at least he's okay. So yeah, like I said, completely ignoring the ball here. I'm trying to isolate these guys who Fergus has brought off to the right here and that don't have much support. So hopefully knock them down, fail them, and knock them out of the game. It's a loner lineman who I'm not that interested in, but he has no sub, so every knockdown I get is good. But also a catcher who's leveled up and got dodge, so that's a nice target for me. So block there, but Goblin armor holds up. And I think Fergus closing off, the idea here is to close off anything that these guys can do. But again, I'm not too worried about that. This guy is my target in this half, so I'm not really too bothered about this. So get a few dodges in, which is nice. I think if I look, there is no tackle on the team, if I'm right. So yeah, that Fergus very cleverly kind of identifies that this guy is out in his own, so dodges away. So now my target changes because this guy's a bit exposed. And you have to remember that, you know, I want to be fouling with Nobla, so when I do foul with him, I need to make sure that he's fouling in a safe position. So if I was to foul down here, it's not really that safe position. Okay, knock down an elf. So blitz here, knock him down here, foul here. Unfortunately, number one, I forgot he had sidestep, so that wasn't going to work, but also didn't get the knockdown. So again, another turn, my second turn with no fail, so Nobla's not really done much. So now going for the loner, you know, I'll take out what I can get, but unfortunately don't get a knockdown of the loner. So then I really want to utilize Nobla, so I think in a desperate attempt, go for a going for it, two going for it into a fail. Nobla manages to pass them, get the fail, and I get the injury on the first fail. So that's really, really nice for me. So one elf down. Fergus does have an apple, but decides not to use it, which is fair enough. You know, it's just a badly hurt on a 0-6 line elf. Okay, here's the KO. So this is now what I thought was going to happen. Fergus knocking out a few of my guys, wait a few turns, wait till I have 4 knockouts, so I have to bring in my entire roster. And like, you know, his ball is really well protected there. I'm not getting in. But he decides to go for the pass. And decides to go for the early score. So, yeah, this is this is really good news for me. I now get like what 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I get 5 turns now with my full weapon team, and then I get my drive in the second half, and I still have 3 bribes remaining, so I'll be able to bribe 3 of them through. So that's 2 chainsaws and a ball and chain, for 8 turns. So, you know, 13 turns of a full weapons team. If I play this right, this is really good news for me. So bribe, use the bribe, failed it. Okay, so that's terrible. Okay, roll the 1 on the bribe. So now, now we only have 1 bribe remaining. So, you know, that became a lot less good. I would have been able to go into the second half with 2 chainsaws. Yeah, I think I said 2 chainsaws and a ball and chain. That was a mistake. I would have been able to go into the half with 2 chainsaws. Now, at best, I can go into the second half with 1 chainsaw. But still, I have a bunch of turns with a full weapons team now that I need to make. I need to make the most of. So putting Irian and Fungus in front of the 2 guys, and then I'm putting Jaffa in front of the other line elf that he's chosen. So I guess hopefully big hits here. And now, because I only have 1 bribe remaining, I'm actually not too worried about getting sent off for fouls with my chainsaws, because I can only keep 1 chainsaw anyway. So this has incentivized me to now go fouling like crazy. Okay, touchback. But again, the whole point of a goblin drive is, again, you're not interested with the ball. Okay, so block on Jaffa. Did break armor, but unfortunately just a stun. Now moving the fanatics. Unfortunately just looped around. And I get 4 moves on Fungus. And unfortunately 4 moves did nothing. Okay, so that means it's... So now I don't... If you remember the last video, I don't want to make the same mistake I made in the last video, which is just leave the fanatics to deal with for themselves. So I'm protecting here. And then I make a big mistake here. Forget that Yannick doesn't have anyone basing him, so it's a 4+. That's not the same. That's not true for David. So David does get past the roll, and he gets a block and another injury. Okay, so really, really good news for me. Mighty blow there, causing the injury, and then I come in for the foul. Chainsaw fails. I roll a 1. unfortunately for me, it's just a stun. So, but I do end up losing a turnover. And I make another huge mistake here. So I've protected my Fanatics really well, and I've protected Nobbler quite well, but I have not protected Jaffa. So Fergus spots this, blitzes Jaffa, and injures him. So that's just really sloppy play on my part. I didn't need to dedicate this amount of resources protecting the ball and chains. You know, they're strength 7. The highest strength on Fergus's team is strength 3. So yeah, that was big mistake there. I think I've gone a little bit unlucky on the bribe and the rolling of 1 there, but I can't complain about that. That's just poor play on my part. So with 1 chainsaw down, we are significantly down in terms of how we can hurt people, but we still have 1 chainsaw and 2 ball and chains. So, you know, not completely out of this. Fergus moves up. This is good pressure. If I fail that roll, I think like that would have been absolutely disastrous, because if Fergus does score again, I only have 1 bribe, and it's not even the second half yet, so I'd be completely without any spicy players on my team if you manage to kind of sack me there and run in for a score. So very important to make the dodge. Is good pressure, I think, on Fergus's part. Okay, again, going in for a hit, using the troll with Mighty Blow. Unfortunately, we have a dodge there. So now I'm moving, trying to move the Fanatics across, because, you know, not much to do over here. It looks like a lot of the players there to the left. Moving out of here so I can, you know, the idea is I eventually moving to the left. I didn't want to move Arian there, because if he moves down here, he hits the chainsaw, and because the chainsaw is very likely to get hurt whenever they take a hit, I didn't want to risk that. But we do have a nice little wall built up here, so, you know, if Fergus tries to pressure from this side, you know, we have quite a bit of firepower ready for that. Caging up here, again, not too interested in pushing forward that much. You know, I have a drive in the second half. This half is all about hurting Fergus's players as much as possible. You know, if I can get a score out of it towards the end, grand, I'll take it, but that's not my primary goal here. So Fergus wisely moving a lot of his players back. He has, though, left 3 players here, and I'm moving my ball and chain up to try and do something. It was unlikely they were going to, you know, do anything this turn, but, you know, I have them hopefully positioned to do something. And, you know, tackle zones, basing a player here, that's something. Okay, coming in with the chainsaw. And knocking down Blitzer. At this point, I kind of realized that I kind of changed up my play a little bit. I thought that blitzing with the chainsaw is probably a lot safer, because, you know, there's a lot of blodge on this team. Okay, so that's unfortunate. Tried to move up a little bit here, because my ball carrier is exposed, so I wanted to make a cage here. But in order to do that, I needed a GFI with, I think it was Yannick, and unfortunately rolled a 1 again. So yeah, the idea now is blitz with the chainsaw, because there's a lot of blodge, and the chainsaw doesn't care about blodge, and then fell with random players. Okay, so obviously Fergus, sensing that my cage's ball carrier is well exposed, he's going to put some pressure on. Dodge out works, and so does the GFI, but the second GFI doesn't. Rerolls. Passes, but it's just a push. But strip ball on the blitzer means I do lose the ball. And that's very unfortunate. That's a catch on an elf who's like out of the line of scrimmage. So yeah, it's gonna be tough for me to sack this elf. And again, ball and chain is just very exposed. I kind of think I learned in this game that they're not great against elves, because elves can just run away from them, and they have to make so much yardage up. Whereas you want them in a game, you know, where like everybody's in a big melee in a group, then they're, you know, very useful. Okay, so I have a plan here, but it requires a few rolls. So the first thing is I need to knock the tackle zone away from this guy, which I managed to do. Then there's a base here. Push here to clear up this space. and then it's a stunty roll out, which gives me assist here, and then it's a 1 die. So this guy needed to go. This guy was the blitz because he was providing an assist, and then it bounces, and I actually catch it with the chainsaw. So that was really nice. Yeah, I had to. I think I knew that was going to be a 4+ roll to move David, so I want to do that last, and then that was a roll to just try and secure the chainsaw a little bit further. But this isn't terrible. Don't love the idea of my chainsaw holding the ball because he's the one piece that I want to move into the next. So that was nice for me. He figures out to use a reroll there. Yeah, he's the one piece I want to bring into the second half. But he's obviously going to be a very important blitz target now because he has the ball. But Nobla comes with block, which normal chainsaw goblins don't come with, and that came very, very handy here. So yeah, that's the blitz gone. So I'm going to end up with the ball on my turn, which is nice. My goal of taking out Fergus's team with my weapons in this half hasn't really panned out. 2 injuries. There's a KO, but obviously, there's a chance of him coming back. 2 injuries is not great with a full weapons team, and the fact that I'm only I'm only going to go away with 1 player here, but I'm hoping Arian can do a bit of damage here. I do hit into Goblin here, but luckily I'm able to pick a push. If you just you're allowed to push your own players. Okay, there's a hit on the leader piece, and I kill him. Okay, so Arian kills the leader piece. It's a reroll into an injury, so that's really, really big for me. And it's a movement allowance point as well, which is nasty. So yeah, that's huge. That's a reroll gone now because he used the leader piece. So ball and chains come in handy. Okay, so here's the drive. I want to blitz with the ball with the chainsaw. I rolled another 1, but luckily I passed along a roll, and it's a point in armor value injury. So yeah, I think before this turn I said that I'm not really happy with how many elves I've knocked out, and now in this turn I've just knocked out 2, and like nasty knockouts too. A movement allowance and an armor value 1. That's definitely 1 dead elf, and I mean, like, movement for the leader piece, I think it's a thrower, so it's not the end of the world, but it's not great. So yeah, moving players up now to try and protect the chainsaw. I have, he's movement 6, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I actually can score if I get a free run. So yeah, trying to just kind of pin down Fergus's players here to make the blitz on the ball carrier quite difficult. Okay, here comes the blitz. Okay, dodges, makes 2 dodges and gets the blitz. And the 1 die works. So it's a strip ball again doing the job. But the 1 die here doesn't. Reroll. I think the reroll there, so okay, there's an injury. I was going to say that my armor is holding up surprisingly well. There's the injury. I think the reroll there is because, Fergus has 2 left. Okay, trying to do some damage with fungus. No such luck. And then again with Arian. Okay, do manage to hit something there, but unfortunately just a push. Okay, so here's a blitz. Blitz works. It's a stun, so that allows a pick up here. Pick up unfortunately fails, need to re-roll it. And I rolled a 1. Okay, so that stops the score. So if I picked that up, it would have been, I think, just 1 GFI to score. Unfortunately, no dice. But all that said, I have killed or hurt, injured 4, and 1 is KO'd. So that's decent with the weapons team, and I still have a bribe left to bring my chainsaw through. So especially if the KO doesn't come back. Yes, he doesn't. Okay, so that's really, really big. 5 players out and no subs. So I'm playing 6 here. So it's 11v6. I have 1 bribe for the chainsaw. And it doesn't work. Okay, so that's 2 1s on the chainsaw. 2 1s for bribes. So Yeah, not great. So that's out of the 3 bribes I had, only one worked. Um, so yeah, having the chainsaw in this half would have really helped. There's not many players left to injure, um, and so I'm thinking, um, if I had the chainsaw, you could go for the win here, right? The chainsaw can still do more work. You score early enough in the half, and you make sure that Fergus has like maybe 4 elves left, 3 elves left, and then you put the pressure on him because I still have a full array of goblins here, and while goblins aren't great, a full team of goblins with some trolls will do the work against only 3 or 4 elves. Unfortunately, going into this full second half with no weapons teams at all. So I started with 4, and I'm playing a whole half with none. So that's really crap. But I'm playing against pro elves. They have armor 8, armor 8, armor 7, armor 7, armor 7, armor 7. Okay, so 4 armor 7s and 2 armor 8s. So the plan is now blitz with the trolls. Use their mighty blow every single turn I can, and then foul liberally. Right, I have 11 players. I've no subs, but I've 11 players to Fergus's 6. So I can afford a few savings off here. That's no problem at all. Okay, so first thing I want to do is block so that I end up with a very juicy foul with lots of assists. Get 1 knocked down with the mighty blow, but unfortunately didn't do anything. Get a knockdown on the lineman. You also have to remember as well, these are armor value 7, so like even normal goblin punches, can do something. Okay, so I want to knock him in here. This will give me the assists, but I actually just injure him. So that's the second time in the game where, oh, and it's an agility bust. So that's 2 dead elves now. That's really nasty. Okay, so yeah, obviously the assist isn't perfect here, but I can still make this a decent foul. So surround him here, coming in here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 assists. And it's a death. The death on a leveled up level 2 lineman. So yeah, that's absolutely brutal. That's essentially 2 deaths in 1 turn. So yeah, I was given out that I don't have a chainsaw because I needed a chainsaw to start removing elves. Yeah, turns out I don't need it. There were some very high rolls on my part. Okay, so what's the plan? Well, the plan is now to try and score. There's 4 elves left on the pitch. Now, I still want to kill as many of them as I can. It might sound mean, but like, the way I win this game. Okay, so I failed dodge there on Fergus's part. He rolls and he's fine. So yeah, the way I win this game essentially is, I score now, and then on Fergus's drive, he has basically no elves, and that's the way I win this game. And to do that, I need to keep doing what I'm doing, keep hitting with my mighty blow pieces, and then fail as much as I can. So there was a blitz. The idea was we blitz here, we push down here, and we surround this guy because the rest of the Ferguson team is over here. Fortunately, blitz rolled a 1 on the blitz. So that's going to slow us down a good bit now. Mistake here. I should have moved Yannick first and then the goblin. So yeah, just securing up. I can build a really tight cage here because there's not many players that Fergus has to actually do anything with. Going to blitz the corner. And the corner here. Okay, so he's done a good job. And it's a KO. Okay, so that's 10 now against 4. So yeah, good job there by Fergus, kind of pinning down my ball carrier. And makes 2 GFIs to base. He has, I think, dedicated quite a lot of resources to like surrounding the cage, whereas as long as I just knock this piece down, it's just a 3+ to dodge away, and that's what I try to do. So I try and make sure it's a 3 dice blitz with the troll because the troll has mighty blow, and then it just dodge out. So this is the target I want to foul, because he is kind of surrounded by a few assists. But first off, I wanted to try and make sure that the ball was safe. Unfortunately, failed the dodge, and that's a dead goblin. So a little bit of revenge there for Fergus. Obviously, not much, just a goblin. I don't really care about him, but that's something. And the ball carrier is a little bit exposed now. So, Fergus goes for it again. So again, 2 GFIs. Fails the first one. Rerolls it. And fails it again. And that's an injury. And it's a niggle injury to his level 3 Blitzer. So yeah, this is absolutely disastrous. Yeah, that was unfortunate. I mean, 2 GFIs, I was kind of saying to Fergus during the game, I like, when I'm doing two GFIs in a row, I always kind of think this is a dodgy move. But I never ever think, I'm going to actually lose a player here. Okay, again, try to blitz. Fortunately, roll the 1 on the blitz. And now the idea here is to push this assist away, because I want to foul here, which I do. So 3 assists on the foul. Unfortunately, no armor break, and there's a sending off. So yeah, again, only 3 Ls. You might ask, why are you fouling when there's only 3 Ls? You're clearly going to score. The answer is, I'm going to score next turn. If he has 2 Ls on the pitch on his drive, I'm much more likely to score it than if he has 3. Every dead elf counts. Okay, so yeah, he's just kind of letting me score there. There's not much he can do. I have a Mighty Blow hit. Unfortunately, it doesn't actually make it. Again, want to try and make sure this is a 3 dice. Go for the blitz. But didn't get a pout. That's okay. And then I didn't really want to follow up. I wanted to score. Okay, so yeah, game is definitely on for me here. I have 3 turns. So what I need to happen is try and get lucky, kick it short, and then put pressure on the elves. If I get this guy back, all the better. I don't. I want Fergus's KO to stay out, because that'll put him back up to 4. It does. Okay, so that's very unlucky on Fergus's part. It's like, I think it's 2 or 3 rolls he had at that KO. Okay, so what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 against his 3. Okay, so yeah, I have 3 turns. So the idea is I want to kick it like around here or here. Now I don't have kick, so I have to get lucky, and then just put a load of pressure on the 3 elves, and then just run it in. So that's why my line is so far up. That's terrible though, absolutely terrible. So now I only have 2 turns, and it's a touchback. Okay, so that's I was saying to Ferguson again, that's like, I don't think there's 2 worse things that could have happened. So what that means now basically is, he gets to give it to whoever he wants. My line is completely exposed, because the idea was, Fergus has to go and retrieve it, and then I would follow him and trap him wherever he retrieves it. Because it's a touchback, he doesn't have to retrieve it. So he's able to just blitz my line, run through it, and now I have to chase up, and I only have 2 turns to knock him down and score. So yeah, with those 2 kickoff events, well, 1 event and 1 just kind of bad kick, I have I'm in big trouble here, because now Fergus has gone from looking like he might lose the game to looking like he actually might win the game. So I need to make a few GFIs to base, so it's a 2 die. Reroll that, and I get lucky. So only a POW would have worked. Now I did a 4 dice at a POW, but only a POW would have worked there because he has blodge and I don't have tackle. But did manage to knock him down. So at this point, I'm thinking I'm not going to win the game, so I just want to stop, make sure that he does not that he doesn't win it, that I don't lose it. So using the trolls to just base this guy, because this elf is so far away that he's not really going to do anything. I think what happened here was Fergus didn't realize he had 2 turns left. I think he just thought it was turn 16, so I'm just going to try and get some SP off an elf. But then he does realize, so he puts a little bit of pressure on. You know, this is still very winnable for Gus. You know, if I fail to pick up here and it scatters, you know, this elf is in scoring position, this elf is in scoring position, and this elf I think is in scoring position. So the plan is knock one of these guys down and fail this guy. And that knocks out 2 threats for me. Okay, so basing, trying to make this a 3 dice and roll a 1, but I have the reroll. Oh, sorry, yeah, oh no, I go this way. Okay, I was just pinning him here. Okay, so Blitz here. Blitz works. Armor breaks, so I don't need to worry about this guy. And then go for the fail here. So I'm looking to just, like, you know, stun him, basically. You know, I don't want to hurt him, just looking to stun him, so it stops him picking up the ball and running it in. And I do get the stun, so I think at this point Fergus is like, okay, that's the game. So he just backs up, blitzes a goblin, trying to get some SVP, and then runs away. So yeah, that's the game. Absolutely devastating, obviously, to Gus's team. I think I counted, I don't know, like 4 deaths and then 2 injuries that you don't like having, a niggle and a move bust. So yeah, that's just really, really nasty. On my part, few mistakes, definitely. I think I could have played, obviously losing Jaffa really early on was poor. Made a few mistakes on the troll blitzes, but otherwise I was happy enough. I think the game plan kind of worked, which is injure the L so that I can run in for a score. I think I got a little bit unlucky on the end there. I think, you know, if I had even just a normal kickoff, 3 turns to try and get in and score, you know, might have worked. But, you know, you can't really complain when you get that many deaths. Like, you know, you don't, like, I was trying to knock out his players, but you don't like to see that much, like, you know, destruction of a team. You know, you're looking for badly hurts. You're not looking for deaths and move busts and armor busts and agility busts and all that kind of crap. But, you know, I'm kind of in a way glad we got to see that, because, you know, this is goblins firing. You know, this is the kind of kill power that goblins can have if you get the injury dice, which I did in this turn, in this game. I'm not gonna. I've already done the level ups. The main thing to note is that, actually, can I show you my team? Main thing to note is I got a level up on Irian, and I got a plus move. So that's huge for a Fnatic, because, you know, the way they work, they kind of move, you know, 3 times in a random direction. So if you give them an extra move, you're essentially giving them an extra chance to block, an extra chance to hurt people, and all that kind of stuff. Usually you want to give them Mighty Blow, but a movement increase is really, really good. And I also managed to level up the 2 trolls, and I gave them Boat Guard just to make punching a lot easier. Okay, that was the game. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, Fergus, if you're watching, sorry about your team. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.